Welcome back to another salvage auction analysis, and this is a car that I absolutely love. Carrington and I got to look at this car in person up at the Somerville, New Jersey Copart lot when we did a salvage auction walkthrough. The video with the Ford GT that you already saw a salvage auction analysis video here on the Scrap Life Doll channel. I love this thing. It spoke to me the second that I saw it, but it's such an obscure project that the only way I could rationalize it is if it just went under the radar, went dirt cheap. It's already pre-bid to $39,000. This thing is going to run here in 2 minutes. So we're gonna watch, we're gonna see what it does, and then we're gonna go back over the auction pictures. If you want more of a detailed look that Carrington and I did, I have a link for that video on the main Scrap Life Garage channel down in the description below. But let's see what this thing sells for. It is a pure sale, so it is selling, and really it's gonna be just interesting. I'll show you here in a little bit, but this car originally sold on Bring a Trailer like a year ago for something north of $250,000 with auction fees. I would not be surprised if this thing stretches up to something like 100 grand, which sounds insane, but watching the early action, there are a lot of people that are in on this. I think this thing is gonna go for a while here. For the people that are confused, this is indeed a 1998 BMW Z3 chassis that has been made to look like the famous Ferris Bueller Ferrari. And the cars in the movie were actually replicas as well. They were not real ones, especially the one that got driven out of the back of that beautiful garage. This one, though, is extremely special because it has an entire Corvette Z06 driveline from a C6 Corvette. I am talking the LS7 motor. The transmission is mounted in the rear with the differential, the full running gear. It has a modified torque tube to fit the dimensions because I imagine that they are not the same. This thing was absolutely awesome, and the $64,000 that it is commanding right now, with people still bidding heavily, I think shows you that this is just an extremely unique, desirable car. This makes me feel good though, because I don't have the spare money to buy this car, and the only way I was going to be involved is if it went for like a steal, and a steal to me on this car would have been like $25,000, which when I woke up this morning is what it was at, and I am happy to see it selling for a solid number, and I don't have to have buyer's remorse on it or put myself in an extremely compromised financial position to get it. But $70,000, man. It's very obvious that this car is going to be fixed. The limited amount of research that I did, there is a company that makes these, I believe, out in California is where the kit comes from. So I have to imagine that there's some availability on parts for that headlight. And then the fiberglass at the front can probably be repaired by a good fiberglass person that has a lot of experience with it. And I don't think it would be too problematic of a repair. I got a phone call coming in, guys. It's totally messing up my screen recording. Technical difficulties. We're back now. $76,000. Oh, I thought it was going to end and I wasn't going to have the screen recording of it. That's the first time that's happened on one of these salvage analysis. I guess I should have put my phone in like airplane mode or something. Take it back down. Take it back down. I don't even have my laptop up to have a backup screen recording. Guys, we just posted a car on Central Dispatch, which is how we transport vehicles. There's going to be all sorts of text messages coming in on the top here. Hopefully not another call that interrupts. $82,000 is what we're at right now. This might be the end of it. $82,000 is a strong number for this car. Like I said, I thought it might get to 100. 82 is pretty close, and it sold. Man, what an absolutely just crazy car to see sell at a Copart Salvage Auction. And normally I might be a little bit upset about, you know, the video getting a little bit messed up with screen recording and everything, but I like for you guys to see just how, like, our day-to-day here, how things go down, you know, carriers calling about transporting stuff, all sorts of fun things. So we are going to dive in real quick, and we are going to look at the car itself. Pulling it up here before it disappears from Copart. Okay, so the car itself, let's get to the HD view. The driver's side here, everything looks to be good, in order. There were no issues going around the car except for this corner right here. And again, this is a fiberglass kit. You can see that it is basically going to be comprised of replacing the hood, replacing the front section. It is a like full one-piece front end, where I think a lot of the trouble comes in with that. Again, you have to be a pretty talented fiberglass person to really get that to where it needs to be if you can't replace it. But replacing it, I have to imagine, might even be harder to replace the entire front end. At least you have a good driver's side where you can essentially use measurements, and you can maybe just use that to exactly replicate the passenger side. Back end of the car looks to be just very, very nice. No issues there. It did have tons of documents in the trunk. We didn't really go through them. We definitely didn't show it on camera in case there was any personal information. But this car, it looks like, was labeled the 427 Spider, which is a reference to the motor that it has in it. And it, you know, just seemed to be something that it was well documented. The build was executed extremely, extremely well, and whoever bought the car off Bring a Trailer had just some sort of unfortunate accident. But I have to imagine, seeing for the amount that it sold for, that this thing is going to be repaired. The interior, you have the manual transmission. You can see the pedals there. It has, you know, the Z3 dash that has been made to look like the Ferrari dash. So you kind of get a cool combination of modern with the vintage look on it here from the passenger side. And then there is the main reason that this thing is such an awesome, awesome car, is the driveline that is in it. It was not quiet by any stretch of the imagination, but it also didn't sound like ridiculously uncharacteristic. It didn't have some huge choppy cam. It sounded kind of just what I was used to hearing from the cars that were in the movie.
Hi. Hi.
I don't know what motor the cars that were used for the movie cars had, but that's what it sounded like to me, and that's my only measuring stick for one of these cars. I don't know what a real one sounds like. I don't even know what motor a real one has in it, to be honest with you. No point in looking up auction history on it. When you car that unique, we know hasn't run through auction, but it did go through Bring a Trailer. And here is a picture of that sold listing from Bring a Trailer. Just such a cool car. I'm glad that I was able to actually catch it running at auction, and you were able to see what it sells for as well. But at the end of these videos, I do the same thing. I always open them up for conversation. Let me know what you think down in the comments. $82,000 plus auction fees for what arguably might be one of the most unique cars to ever run through a salvage auction. Really, really cool car. I keep saying it. I keep repeating it. I'm upset that I wasn't able to take a shot at that car, but at the same time, I think for that amount of money, it's going to go to somebody that's going to do it justice, fix it, and hopefully you get to see it maybe at a car show or something like that later on down the road. It definitely will probably appear on the internet at some point again. So let me know what you think down in the comments, and I will see you, whether it's for a salvage auction analysis or something else, whether it's on the Scrap Life Outside channel or the main channel. I will see you in one of the next videos. See you.